tell us a little bit about the Man of the Year award and that you won at the Stillwater Chamber of Commerce and how that has influenced, or what you did to influence that?
Okay. Yeah, that was quite an honor. I was humbled and surprised when that was announced. I mean, if you look back at some of the other Citizens of the Year, I mean, those are people that have really accomplished good things for a long time here in Stillwater, and to even be close to mentioned near the same breath as some of the people that have won this award is an incredible honor. And really, it actually, when it was awarded, my wife kind of said to me something to the effect of, it's a great honor, but you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And I kind of looked at her, and I knew what she meant. What she meant was the things that I think led to me being given that award were the things I'm supposed to be doing as mayor, what I'm supposed to be doing as a leader in our community. It's getting out there and setting a vision and working hard to show what Stillwater's all about. It's those natural duties or jobs that a mayor or a leader need to be doing. And they weren't, I don't think I did anything extra or above and beyond what a good leader for our community does that resulted in that. But regardless of why or for what, I was very honored to receive that award.
Now, when you took office as mayor, you'd been on the city council, but did you set any specific goals for yourself as mayor that you wanted to accomplish in the first year?
Yeah, I actually I did. I had some tangible goals. I want us to accomplish X, or I want us to get something implemented. But I also had some intangible goals, and those were my first focus. Were kind of the intangible goals, and those goals were we need to pull together. We need to make sure that the city council and city administration, that we are on the same page. Not necessarily agree on everything down to the nth detail, but we're at least on the same page of what direction do we want to be going. Different ways to get in directions, but let's pull together. We are a team, and we have to be working as such. And so I spent a lot of time and a lot of energy just working with people, just getting to know people better and from a different perspective than just on city council. That's both city staff, and that's also the other counselors. I knew them, but I'm now working with them from a different viewpoint. So I spent a lot of time and energy making sure that we were all working together. And I think we've accomplished that, and it's an ongoing. You're never done, building and working on relationships and working together with people. But I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish from that standpoint. On a more tangible standpoint, I was very, very pleased that within the first year of being in office, we have not only had the implementation of the curbside recycling pilot program, but we have voted to take that citywide. We've gotten enough information, good information, of how we can make that program viable for the entire city to participate in curbside recycling. I think that's a very important step for us. Not so much, it's not a money saving, it's not changing the financial situation of the city, but it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do to recycle, and that's something that this community has interest in. So in order to make it as successful and as viable a program, we had to have the right method put in. And I think we've got that with the single stream curbside recycling. And so we should be rolling it out citywide by July. But here within that first year as mayor, we have determined we are going to be going citywide. Then it's just implementation. The other, I think, big accomplishment this year that we can really point to is the progress that we made on our overall water system. It is such a complex thing, trying to understand the water system. And you've got the Call Lake, you've got the different pressure zones around town, you have ancient infrastructure, you have old infrastructure, you have new infrastructure. It's just very complex. Learning about that has probably been one of the harder elements of the job. Now, it's once you start piecing it together, I mean, it clicked for me, but it has so many parts that it's hard to understand. And you know what? You're never done with infrastructure. I am very much determined, and it's not me, doesn't make me smart, but the light bulb finally clicked on for me that with infrastructure, whether it be water lines, sewer lines, or roads, it's painting the Golden Gate Bridge. We've got a plan to replace every water line in the city. It's going to take us 50 years to do that. As soon as we do that, guess what? It's time to start over and replace it all again. So it's not something you can ever say, check the box, done. But what we can say we've accomplished is we are progressing down a path that prior leaders have had established and put in front of us and said, this is what we need to be doing. And we've stuck to the concept of that plan of that the water rates, we are putting money aside into a capital savings account, so we have the money to do the improvements. So we've got some tangible things we've been able to cross off. The other things that we've done, I've been very proud of the public-private partnerships that we are entering into, and I think this is something you're going to see more and more of. We've got Friends of Multi-Arts, where it's a private group, is running the multi-arts facility. They're providing a better service to the people of Stillwater, and it's being done in a better way than the city could do it. So I think we've done that with Lake McMurtry also. I think we've got several other areas that we're looking at to do that with, so that the citizens are still receiving a service and getting the benefit of, but it's being done by someone other than the government, and they're going to be doing it better than the government can. I think that's a very important way for Stillwater to grow and to mature. So we can then be focused on what does the city really need to be doing. So many of the things that we're working on and that I think are so important are things that we won't be done in my term as mayor. And I actually think that's some of the problems that we've had in the past, is too many elected officials are wanting to accomplish things that you can check a box right now and say they're done. No, the things that we're doing and the things that we're working on, the things I'm working on, I'm going to make the next mayor look like a superstar. Because that's when they'll really be finishing, or really being able to take advantage of the progress and the work that's being done now. Will be at least one mayor after I'm done. So it's long-term stuff that we're working on.
We have the parking study coming up.
Yes.
With the public hearing next week, but we also have the comprehensive master plan coming up. Can you talk a little bit just about how important those are for Stillwater?
Oh, definitely. I'm a big fan of learning all that you can and get experts in when you need experts. They will bring in new ideas and new ways of looking at things. I know I can be guilty of, this is how we've done it, and this is what I know, so let's find the solution. Sometimes you've got to bring in someone else, and with new ideas and new ways. Both the parking and the comprehensive plan are going to be wonderful tools, and that's what I want everyone to keep in mind. These are tools. They're not answers. They're tools to help guide us to what is best for Stillwater. The parking study is going to come back with ideas of what can we do to help with parking issues, not just downtown, not just around campus, but a citywide type of concept of where do we need to be doing certain things? How can we manage parking better? It's real simple to say, well, we just need to build a parking garage. Okay, where? How big? How much do you charge? How do you implement? How do you decide who gets to park there? It's just not as simple as say build a parking garage. And there are a lot of other things that we can be looking at on ways to manage parking. I loved through that study when one of the things they talked about is, parking is one of those convenience versus cost. The more convenient it is, the more it's going to cost. So it's that balancing act. But I'm very much looking forward to, I think the last public hearing or public meeting on the parking study is next week. And I think we actually have, it's either the March 4th, 5th, whatever that Monday is. It must be the 4th, because then I have March 18th. I can't remember which of those two, our March meetings, is when we tentatively have it actually being presented to City Council on the parking study. The comprehensive plan, I tell you what, that we all owe a whole lot of thanks to a big group of citizens that have been working on that for the last 2 years, 2+ years. Actually, I guess it's now pushing 3 years. Because I think we got that rolling right after I was elected to City Council in 2010. So that group's been working for almost 3 years on this comprehensive plan. And it's to update our last comprehensive plan from around 2000. Now, stop and think how much has changed in the last 13 years. And we were still operating with this comprehensive plan that was that old. So a new comprehensive plan that takes into account our new zoning and our new where things have grown and where we think things will continue to grow will be a wonderful tool as we continue to have land use questions for City Council. When businesses or developments come into town or want to come into town, we'll have an updated comprehensive plan that not only developers can be looking at, but city staff can be using, planning commission and city council will be able to use when these questions come up. It can be, it's a guide. It's a lot of effort that's gone into, we think these are good ideas on how we think the city should develop or could develop. So I'm very excited about that. I know we're having some public meetings. I think it's this Saturday and then the next Monday, and then that will be presented to City Council after the public meetings and take that input and any tweaks or changes that group wants to make to the comprehensive plan. But I'd anticipate by April we'll be having the presentation to City Council on the comprehensive plan. I'm very excited to see it. I haven't even gotten to see a sneak peek of it, so I'm excited to see what they've come up with.
Okay. One last question. You're getting up into your start of your second year as mayor. Where do you see the city, or what are your goals for the next year?
Got it. I've got really kind of two. They sound vague, but it's only because they're very overarching. Because so much of the work that I want us to do needs that public input tweak. I'm going to throw you out some options. Which way do you want to go? But I can sum it up pretty quickly in a lot of times when I speak, I give an example of what the city needs to be involved in. Where do we need to be spending city money, the citizens' money? What do we need to be spending that on? And I give the example of think of a circle, and there are 3 points on this circle. You've got infrastructure, you've got economic development, and you've got quality of life. Every dollar that the city spends should be touching at least one of those ideas. And a lot of times it touches multiple of those ideas. And I give the example of when we redid Washington Street to Boomer to Washington, from Hall of Fame all the way out to the Turnpike. What kind of project was that? Well, it was obviously infrastructure as a road. Well, it was also quality of life, especially for the people that lived anywhere near it and had to drive on that street. But it also is economic development. If you were a company wanting to move into town and knew your people or your trucks were going to be driving along that road, the condition it was before as to the condition it is now, you definitely would be more inclined to be moving to Stillwater with that new road as compared to the old rutted one we had before. So a road touches on all three of those points. If it doesn't touch on one, the city shouldn't be doing it. But the more it touches, the better off we're going to be. So it's going to be a real focus on those elements. What are things that we can be doing that truly will, it may be infrastructure, but it's also going to improve our quality of life. It may be infrastructure, but it has a huge economic development impact. And it may not be true infrastructure like pipes or roads, and some people may qualify it as quality of life. But quality of life is a necessity nowadays, because quality of life is what drives economic development in a whole lot of circumstances. It's not, companies aren't just showing up because you have a railroad spur. The railroad spur may help, but if you don't have anything for their people to do, or if it's not a place that they would want to live, they can find a railroad spur someplace else. So it's that full circle of, we have the infrastructure, we also have that quality of life. We set it up, and we have things that make people want to live here and enjoy living here. That's what drives economic development, and that's what benefits everybody. So it's implementing those kind of projects. Maybe infrastructure, maybe quality of life, but it all gears towards the economic development aspects. So those are really my goals, are to really tie in and get projects implemented that focus on those.